So, we have seen about the reproduction, the mode of reproduction in which a single organism involves in producing the young ones of its own kind. We have seen various methods like spore formation or fragmentation or regeneration or fission or budding. All these are the methods in which a single organism involves. So, we generally call all those modes as asexual modes, and even vegetative propagation in plants also asexual. Then what is the sexual means of reproduction? In sexual reproduction, there is involvement of two organisms. Two organisms X and Y. Two organisms participate in the process of reproduction, that is in the production of young ones. So, this sexual reproduction, it involves two organisms of not same gender. Two organisms of opposite gender. What is the gender? Male, female. So, sexual reproduction is possible by two organisms not of same kind, not of same gender, two different gender, male, female. And also, the sexual reproduction is not possible between various species. It is possible only between the two organisms, one male and one female of the same species. The organisms of the same species are able to reproduce. Two organisms, one male and one female of the same species, can participate in the process of sexual reproduction to produce an young one of their own kind. But how is this young one? Similar to the parents, but not identical. Here, father, here, mother. The young one is similar to the parents. The young one acquires some characters from father, some characters from mother, but not identical to any one of them. In the sexual methods, in the asexual methods, we have seen that even though the organisms are produced from single organism, there are some changes in their DNAs. So, there are some variations. Here in sexual reproduction, there is more scope for variations, more chance of variations, more chances of variations. Many variations are produced here because we know that the genetic material DNA, here is a DNA, here is a DNA. Now the young one gets the DNA. How it gets the DNA? He gets the share of DNA from father and mother. 50% of DNA from father, 50% of DNA from mother. He will get a new DNA which is a combination of father and mother DNA. So here combination takes place, recombination takes place, new combination. So definitely there are more variations. So in this sexual reproduction, there are more chances for more variation. So sexual reproduction, it helps a lot for the process of evolution, because more and more variations are observed in the generations in the process of sexual reproduction. So, in the sexual reproduction, there is a fusion of male and female gametes. So, the cells are duplicated, divided, and produced the young ones, producing the young ones. Let us see here, we consider this is one organism X and Y. So X contains the genetic material A, and Y contains genetic material A. This is the genetic material, the DNA, it is in the form of chromosomes, and here also it is in the form of chromosomes. Here two organisms are involved in the production of new organism, male female. These two organisms, they are giving rise to a new organism. So this new organism Z, just think that it is Z, it is getting the genetic material from female, that is Y, it is getting that A genetic material, and it is getting that A genetic material from X, A plus A 2A. It means that the genetic material is doubled in this generation. But is it a fact? Is it happening like that? Do you have double the amount of chromosomes in you when compared to your parent? In such case, your children will have double than you. Their generations, next generation will have double than them. In this way, if it happens at each and every stage of the sexual reproduction, the amount of chromosomes, genetic material is doubled, the total planet would be filled up with genetic material. There won't be any room for any other organism or any other thing to exist, because if the genetic material is doubled like that, it is not happening. It is not happening. Then what is happening? Here in the sexual reproduction, the kind of cell division, the lineages are different, not like other cases. Generally in our body, cell division takes place. Every day number of cells are formed in our body, because every day we lose number of cells in our blood, in our muscles, in our skin. Our skin loses number of cells every day. New cells are formed. But how the new cells are formed? Here is the skin cell. From the pre-existing cell, a new cell is formed. You know the cell theory. New cells are always formed from the pre-existing ones. Here it contains the genetic material A. The new cell contains the genetic material A. Same amount of chromosome. Exactly. This is normal cell division. Means when a new cell is formed from the pre-existing one, whatever the amount of chromosome is there, whatever the number of chromosomes are there. For example, here we have 36 chromosomes. In this also you will have 36 chromosomes. But in reproduction, in sexual reproduction, the reproductive cells or the germ cells are produced by different division. So that is the division in which the newly formed cell will get 50% of chromosomes from male, 50% of chromosomes from female. That means here the male is having A amount of chromosomes, it will get 1 by 2A, and from female it has A, here it will get 1 by 2A. So it becomes A. That means the new organism is also having the same number of chromosomes to their parent. So this kind of cell division, special cell division is observed here. And one more thing already I discussed here, the genetic recombination takes place. When a new cell is formed, the DNA is copied. So while copying, if there are many errors, the DNA cannot accommodate in the cell apparatus and the cell will die. While copying the DNA, there are less errors, there is less chance for variations. But in sexual reproduction, you see two individual organisms combine to produce a single organism. Here male X, he is having some variations. He is male, he is having some variations. Here female Y, she is having some variations. Two individuals with different variations, they are producing a cell, zygote. Here they are producing, the female produces female cell, the male produces male cell, which contain half amount of chromosomes, half number of chromosomes, then their original cell. These two cells join together, they form a zygote. So this will be having very good variations, which are very helpful variations are accumulated here. And this zygote is a new variant. So in every generation, we are new variants. When compared to our parents, we have acquired the variations accumulated in both the mother and father. So out of those, we get good variations which help us to survive, exist. But sometimes, in some cases, any disorders are there in the genetic material of your parent, either mother or father, there are some chances of acquiring such disorders also. But there also there is a ratio, there is a calculation whether you acquire it or not. Okay, so that is a different case we study in genetics. In this way, whatever the variations are there in the parent organisms, these variations accumulated and the new DNA is formed here in the zygote in sexual reproduction. So there is more scope for these variations. And moreover here in sexual reproduction, the sex cells or the germ cells whatever are formed, these sex cells or germ cells will have the half number of chromosomes. So by that, when two sex cells combine, they form a zygote with the number of chromosomes that are there in that organism. So in this way the sexual reproduction is carried. So now let us see the difference between the germ cells and the somatic cells. What are somatic cells? The cells that are present in our body parts, like the cells present in your skin, the cells present in your muscle, the cells present in your body parts, the cells present in your blood, all these are somatic cells. But in your body there are some special cells called as germ cells that help in the sexual reproduction, that participate in the sexual reproduction. Somatic cells are found in everywhere in our body, but exclusively in reproductive parts, some special cells are produced called as germ cells. What is the difference between germ cell and somatic cell? Somatic cells will have 2n number of chromosomes. Means 2 sets of chromosomes will be there in somatic cell. 1n number of chromosomes. So that is the main difference between these germ cells and somatic cells. Germ cells, they combine together. Male germ cell is called as male germ cell is called as sperm. It fuses with female germ cell called as ova. It fuses with sperm, fuses with ova to form zygote. In most of the cases, the male germ cell or the male sex cell or the male reproductive cell or the male gamete, all these are names, same name, same cell with different names. The germ cells are also called as reproductive cells. They are also called as gametes. If it is a male germ cell, it is called as a sperm cell. The sperm cells are motile, that means they have some movement. Female germ cells are called as ova, and these two together fuse together to form zygote. So the fusion is called as fertilization. This happens in the sexual reproduction. The reproduction in which a male gamete, a sperm cell, fuses with a female gamete to form a zygote is called as sexual reproduction. So here it involves the participation of two organisms, male organism, female organism. This kind of reproduction is seen in both plants as well as in animals. In case of plants, you may not call it as a sperm cell. You call it as a male gamete and female gamete. We don't call it as a sperm in case of plants, but in case of animals you call it as a sperm and ova. In plants you call it as a male gamete and female gamete. Even plants have got male and female reproductive parts, but in most cases they are all fixed in one part called as flower. There are some flowers which consist of both male and female parts. Those are bisexual flowers. Some flowers will have either male or female organs. Those are called as unisexual flowers. So whatever may be the arrangement, even in flowers also, the male gametes reach the female parts and they fertilize the egg cells to form the zygote, so on. Let us see how this mechanism of transfer of gametes, the fusion of gametes. So here we discussed that the gametes are fused together. For fusion, they should be brought to one place. They should come close to each other. Who will bring them close to each other? So both these are belongs to two individuals, different individuals. There is X and Y, two persons. How the germ cells of X and Y come close, what is the site of union? How they join together, where they join together, all this we will see.